Principal Partners is an annual educational program designed to bring out the best in Boston by pairing 150 local business, community, and political leaders with principals of various public schools for a first-hand look at the progress being made in these schools and the challenges that still remain. Now, Principal Partners is a Boston Plan for Excellence program co-sponsored by Boston Public Schools and Bank of America. Joining us this morning to talk about the program is Dottie Engler. Now, she's the Special Projects Director for Boston Plan for Excellence, a great organization, and George Regan, Chairman and founder of Regan Communications, who recently served as a Principal Partner for the second time at the East Boston Early Education Center. Welcome to Urban Update.
Great to be here.
Good. George, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
Excellent.
I think I may go back to that school for a little refresher course.
Yes, because we're going to get to your experiences there in East Boston. But Dottie, for the folks who are watching and have never heard, this was the Principal for a Day program that was known before, right?
It was, and we decided to change the name for several reasons, but one of them, we didn't want people to have the idea that this was only something they were going to do for a day. We changed it to Principal Partners because we really wanted to cultivate the sense that come into the schools, but don't leave after a day thinking that you've been there, done there, and you can just tuck it away. This is something we really want you to be engaged in. We want you to feel you belong, and we want you to contribute. So it's no longer Principal for a Day, it's Principal Partners, and we hope those are long-term partnerships.
And a lot of these folks who go in, like George, are some of our big-time leaders in the corporate and
we like to say it looks like the who's who of Boston, and it does. Yeah. It's from every single segment of the population, foundations, corporations, government. We had both Martha Coakley and Charlie Baker there, so sitting at the same table at lunch, so that was fun. But it's everybody that we think ought to know what is going on in the Boston Public Schools. We think for a long time there was a void in the understanding of what was going on, and we tried to fill that with first-hand experience.
Well, I'm going to ask this gentleman to my left here, George. Describe for us your experience there. I know it's your second time in that particular school in East Boston.
I think I'm very fortunate to be invited in Bank of America. I mean, they got a real strong civic responsibility. And I was saying before we went on, I don't know any other city in this country where they have a program quite like this, that you take so-called opinion leaders and people who can help make change and make it better. There's 152 people. They go to 152 schools. And it's an amazing, I think I've been doing this now 7, 8, 9 years, the evolution and the change. And I was lucky enough to go back to early education school in East Boston for the second time. I was incredibly impressed by the principal.
Olga, right?
The teachers. But also, I realized the problem we still have. I mean, you got an awful lot of very poor people in the city. And you got teachers that will tell me that they know, George Regan, 3 years old, 4 years old, and his parents don't have any money really, and they'll make sure that child is fed, they have clothes. They go way beyond being a teacher.
And that's not public schools, right?
It's a complicated school system, and that's what we wanted people to understand, is the complexity of what it is that the teachers and the administrators deal with every day. I think when we first started, there was so much grousing about the Boston Public Schools and how lazy the teachers were and how crummy this was and how crummy that was. So we thought by introducing people, form your own opinions. We do not select the schools. In fact, we encourage people to make their own requests. We have people who say, I want to go into the lowest performing school. I want to go into the turnaround school. I want to do this and that. All the schools are open for people to visit. But I think what's really important is to see how smart people are, how smart the teachers are, how hard they're working. I know when George, I hope you don't mind me saying this, George, but I know when you first started, George was sort of critical of, and rightly so, of some of the stuff that was going on in the schools. But over the years, I think he's been more and more impressed.
You've seen the change, right, George?
With what's been going on.
7, 8, 9 years ago, I remember saying to people at the bank, "Ugh, this is not good." And it's been a dramatic change for the better. And I can tell you, the principals I've had the last 3 or 4, they're great. Teachers, absolutely terrific. There are some problems like the union, understand that, but it's not their fault. But the end product is these kids, if you get a chance to go next to yourself, go to the school. You'd be blown away by it.
Yeah. I saw a piece that you wrote in El Mundo this week. You were inspired enough to write the local Latino paper because a lot of kids in that East Boston, a lot of students there are Latino families, right?
Absolutely. I would say probably 60, 70%.
Yeah.
And there was also that problem. A lot of these families, when the child goes home at night, they don't speak English. So a lot of times you have to have these teachers, not only just working with the students, they're helping parents.
Yeah.
You know what it is sometimes is we talk about our schools being diverse. And people, you know, sit at home in the suburbs and they think, oh, great, Boston schools are diverse. It isn't until they're in a school and see the kids get off the school bus that they think, whoa, these are students of every different color. They're little girls wearing headscarves because they're Muslim. They're talking so many different languages. You want to see diversity. You know, help the kids off a bus, go into a classroom, and you get how it really, you're not teaching to a uniform population. You're teaching to people with different languages, customs, styles, so it is incredibly hard.
Thank you so much for coming by and give us a little update. Say hi to Jesse Solomon over at the Boston
will.
Plan
He'll
for
be
Excellence.
He does a great job.
Say hi to Bob Gallery over at Bank, you know.
Yeah, the bank deserves a lot of credit for this. They really do.
And George, thank you for coming as well.
Well, thank you for having
And
me.
Albert, we're looking for you next year.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Dottie.
Be
Dottie
there.
keeps me in check, guys. I'm part of the board.